Welcome back into the channel, my friends. It's your boy Steve from Straight Fire Picks. We're back with your best bets for NFL Sunday, week number 14, on Sunday, December 7th, 2025. We got your NFL player props, spreads, totals, parlays, predictions, as always. We got 5 picks in the video and a anytime touchdown parlay. Let's lock in and get a sweep here in week 14 in the NFL.
Well, my presence isn't real. It's another bad one like this is scale. It's straight fire. All my bets straight from. You're in the house that Cap made now. Straight fire.
As always, my friends, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate it. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Appreciate all of you guys' support as always. Let's lock in and have a great week number 14 in the NFL, guys. Really looking forward to it. And hopefully, obviously, we can make some money here and have a great week. That is our goal every week, but hey, not every week has gone that way, but hopefully we're going to have a great week 14. That is the goal. 14 is my lucky number, so we need to lock in here, guys. So let's first start with a recap from NFL Thursday Night Football, Lions, Cowboys. Of course, my Detroit Lions. I love my Detroit Lions. They did get the win, which, I mean, honestly, I was happy about that. I was a little, obviously, not as happy that we didn't cash our bet. Obviously, that we had the Lions team total under 27.5 points. They ended up going, they did go nuclear. They ended up scoring 44 points. We were able to cash Jameson Williams, though, over 82.5 receiving yards. That ends up cashing. But we did miss George Pickens over on receiving yards. The dude showed a lot of low effort that night. I will say that, which was unfortunate. The dude still got a lot of targets, just I felt like there were opportunities there for him, and he just didn't put a lot of effort into that game. So, kind of disappointing to see, honestly. I was really starting to trust the guy, and then he makes me really wonder when you have a game where, if I got to question your effort, I got to start wondering if we can put our money on you, obviously. So, 1 and 2, like I said, it wasn't the worst night in the world. 1 and 2 ended up being minus 1.21 units total. So, like I said, we move on from that. I'm not too concerned about it. Obviously, would have preferred to go 3-0, but it's just one of those things. My Lions did get the win, though, which I was pretty happy about that. As far as our comment cappers, had a great night again as well. Got to get the bag in the chat, calling Jahmyr Gibbs under 124.5 rushing and receiving yards. Was able to cash that. Mike Crone calling the Cowboys team total over 12.5 in the second half. That is when they turned it up. That was a great call there from Mike. And George Paltaglu calling Dak Prescott 270-plus passing yards, guys. We love to see it. Great call-outs there, once again, from our comic cappers. Guys, don't forget for this week, drop your favorite pick down below in the chat. Put a star or an asterisk next to your pick, and if your pick does hit down below in the chat, we'll include it in our next video, as always, that way. So make sure you guys participate in the program. A lot of fun. Great way to get involved at the channel. Our comic cappers kill it, guys. You guys always kill it in the chat. There's always great call-outs down there. So make sure you guys are paying attention to the comments below. There's a lot of great cappers down there putting out great knowledge and great picks down in the chat. So I'm sure you guys know the names by now. They do a great job. So appreciate all of you guys. Keep it up. Let's keep winning as a community. That is the goal. Even when I'm struggling in the picks I'm giving out, like I said, the comic cappers sometimes carry the weight here at the channel, which honestly, I appreciate you guys, and I'm more than happy to call you guys out in the videos, as always. One last thing, just check out the pinned comment for any links you guys are looking for here down below at the channel. Membership, merchandise, social media links, all down below in the pinned comment. Membership's $3.99 for the entire month. You get access to all these picks and plays early, in advance of the videos, as always. Without further ado, though, my friends, let's get after it today and get the sweep in the NFL. Let's get right into the picks. At number 1, we're rolling with the Cleveland Browns, minus 3.5 here on the spread versus the Tennessee Titans. We got minus 115 odds here on Fanatics, risking a unit here. This is my favorite spread pick of the week for a multitude of reasons, honestly. For one, the Browns have been a great home team this season, especially against the spread. They are 4-1 at home against the spread with a plus 4.9 differential. I love seeing that. So they have definitely outpaced the books at home. They've gotten some big home upsets. Obviously, they're over the Packers. Big home upset there. And overall, they've hung in a lot of these games at home, which you love to see. Up against the Titans team, who has been dog water most of the season. They're 3-4 on the road against the spread with a negative 5.8 differential, which that's still pretty good for us there. And just coming into Cleveland, Cam Ward is going to struggle, guys. You're going to have Myles Garrett on him. This Cleveland defense, which has played so well this season, Cam Ward's going to be in for it, especially on the road. I don't see the Titans putting up many points at all, honestly, in this one. And I think this could be a very ugly day for the Titans, for sure. Certainly expecting it. Likely going to be some snow here in the forecast, so I see the Titans honestly having a very sloppy offensive game like they have had most of the season, but particularly here. There was no reason to think their offense is going to be good on this day in Cleveland. It's obviously going to be rough. And I think Shedeur will bounce back a little bit here. I do like Shedeur Sanders of any of the quarterbacks that they have. I think he gives them the best shot. We've seen some potential from him. So I think he will be able to get it down the field enough and put up enough points for this Browns team to be able to cover the spread. I really do. I think they'll be able to get a few touchdowns here. Maybe put up at least 17 to 21 point range for the Browns, which is honestly all I think they'll need. I don't think the Titans are going to score more than 10 points in this game. I really don't. I think the Browns, if they can get to 17, I think that's the magic number here. Like I said, I don't feel anything about the Titans right now. Especially on the road, I don't think they hang around in this one here. This Browns defense, like I said, pretty dominant this season. They're the best unit on the field of any of the four units. Browns offense, Browns defense, Titans offense, Titans defense. Browns defense is by far the best unit on the field. That's pretty much what we're betting on here. Browns third best in yards per play allowed. Like I said, elite defense. So right up there with all the great ones. Like I said, I think we'll see a little bit better play from Shedeur as well. I think he's really taken it serious. He obviously can come across as cocky at times, but I think he is going to work, and I do think he'll be prepared at the very least. So do love it there for number one pick, guys. We get the Cleveland Browns -3.5 here on the spread versus the Tennessee Titans. We got -115 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, and at number two, I love this pick, and I will actually be at this game, guys. We got Chase Brown over 50.5 rushing yards here for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got -110 odds on Fanatics. Obviously, they're taking on the Buffalo Bills up in Buffalo. My butt is going to be up there watching this game, so I'm obviously very excited about that. But I think Brown does have a great matchup, obviously, in this game. They were calling for snow in the forecast, so Bengals should be looking to run that football a decent bit in this one for sure. And the Bills have had a lot of trouble stopping the run this season. That's been very well noted. But you got Brown here, guys, over in 5 of his last 6 games, averaging 83.7 rushing yards per game. He's been on a bit of a heater of late. Premium matchup. The Bills ranked 30th in rushing yards allowed to running backs, which you'll love to see that. We got Brown here, 2 for his last 2 on the road to this line. Like seeing that. Bills allowing 5.2 yards per carry on the year, 5.4 yards per carry at home. It even gets slightly worse at home, which is something obviously you want to know. So I think this is a great spot for Brown to go over. This line is simply set way too low here in this particular spot. I said there was snow in the forecast. Could see the Bengals lean a little bit more on Chase Brown in this one. Obviously, I still think the Bengals aren't really looking to overexpose Joe Burrow, right? To unnecessary hits and stuff like that. So I think where they can, if they can control this game on the ground with Chase Brown, I think they'll do it. And Brown, like I said, has been on a heater late. So offensive line's actually been playing pretty good for the Bengals of late. And overall, offensively, obviously they've been performing. They played great, obviously, in Baltimore, and he was able to go over there on that spot as well. And I think we'll see more of that from Chase Brown. I'm excited to see what he's got in store for us. Like I said, he's been big time the last 5-6 weeks. He's really figured it out. Early season, he got off to a very slow start. We weren't seeing much from him in the run game at all. And I'm happy he turned it up because he's on my fantasy team. He's been clutch for me over the last few weeks. I've needed it. So thank you, Chase Brown. Appreciate you. But do love this play, guys. I will be at this game watching this one live, so I'm excited for it. If you guys happen to be at the Bills-Bengals game, let me know. Love to say hey to you. But obviously looking forward to this one. So love that for number 2 pick, guys. We got Chase Brown over 50.5 rushing yards here for the Cincinnati Bengals. We got -110 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, and at number 3, we're going Jackson Smith-Njigba over 90.5 receiving yards here for the Seattle Seahawks. We got -120 odds here on Fanatics. First game unit here. So guys, this is a guy that I see cash every week. And I sit there thinking, why am I just not playing this guy every single week? I mean, honestly, like he's one of these guys that just he hits his lines just about every week, regardless of the situation, regardless of the matchup. But I happen to like the elements that we have in play here. So he's over in 9 of 12 games this season, which is really good. He's over in 5 of 6 on the road, so the percentage has increased there on the road. He's averaging 124 yards receiving per game on the road. That's kind of crazy when you really think about it. And this is probably the best of the road elements that you can get. He's in a dome, faster turf, right? Dome usually breeds well for yards, especially for receivers and stuff like that. So I love that it's in a dome. We don't have any elements. We get faster turf. That works out great for us. The Falcons here do rank 16th in yards allowed to receivers, so it's definitely not a top defense as far as that goes. And number one receivers of late have had success here versus Atlanta. Terrell McMillan, 130. Adonai Mitchell, 102 for the Jets. He was the top receiving option for the Jets. Jalen Waddle, 99 for the Dolphins. So number one wide receivers have been able to get loose here. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the best number one wide receiver that we have. He's the best receiver right now in the game. I feel very comfortable betting on him. I really do. I think he's obviously fantastic. Or at least, statistically, right now, he's the best receiver in the game. Leads the NFL in yards, and he's about to have a historic season. So, I think it continues. Honestly, he kind of slowed down last week, which is honestly good for our line here. Only had, 4 targets last week, but it was just one of those weird games where the Seahawks weren't required to do anything at home last week versus the Vikings. So we're required to do a little bit more on this one, I think. Kirk Cousins, honestly, has been playing pretty well of late. So hoping the Atlanta offense could press the Seattle offense a little bit to make them throw, obviously, and get a little more uncomfortable. But I do love it, though, for number 3 pick, guys. We got Jackson Smith-Njigba over 90.5 receiving yards. Here for the Seattle Seahawks, we're going minus 120 odds here on Fanatics. Kane at number 4. This is really my favorite value play of the week. We talk about you're getting some value here. You got Bucky Irving over 2.5 receptions here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got plus 135 odds on Fanatics. Obviously, love that plus value like we were just saying there. Bucky Irving, guys, 4 or 5 this season to this line. And all 4 hits that he had at least 4 receptions. So you love seeing that. That's already above the line. His line, like I said, 2.5. Last week was the one he missed, though, with 2, and he had just 2 targets. So I think that goes into this here. But obviously an extra week of practice here for Bucky Irving. Kind of gave him a little bit less reps than I think he'll get this week. I think he'll be on the field a little bit more, which will obviously help here. I think the Bucs are a little desperate to use this guy just because they've struggled so much without him. That I think they're going to be excited to get the ball in his hands in space. I really do. And also just handing him the football. So I think he'll get his touches here. I definitely think he'll have a great opportunity to cash this line. And Baker should be looking for him. Baker's obviously nicked up. So as far as throwing down the field, like if he can check it down to Irving, I think he will. I think it's a great option. Irving obviously has the ability to make people miss. It's obviously a very good running back. In early season, this was auto. So I think he gets back to that. I really do. I think this is a great spot for him to get back to that. This is going to be in good elements down in Tampa, so obviously love seeing that, the Florida weather. Like I said, I think this is a great spot for Bucky Irving here. Really nice plus value. You got to love the plus value that you're getting here. Like I said, with no Mike Evans, Baker a little nicked up, Bucky Irving should be a little bit more involved in the pass game. I'd be surprised if we don't see him get this. He has actually caught every target that's been thrown his way this season. So he's reliable. He's averaging over 4 targets per game, but he's literally caught every pass on every target. He has not dropped a pass, which is great. Like I said, I think he's good for 3 catches here. For the value that you're getting, you could feel pretty good about it, right? Plus 135 will make over a unit here, which I think is great. So, love that for number 4 pick, guys. We got Bucky Irving over 2.5 receptions here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We got plus 135 odds here on Fanatics. Okay, and finally at number 5, a guy we cashed on earlier this season in the same matchup, a little bit lower line now. Troy Franklin, over 35.5 receiving yards here for the Denver Broncos. We're going minus 125 odds here on Fanatics. Now, initially I typed this up at 37.5, but then when I was logging in on Fanatics, putting my plays in, I know it says 35.5 at minus 125. You could take it at 37.5. I believe it was like minus 113 on DraftKings. Honestly, I decided to take the safer line for me just because the way the season's gone. I want to make sure if we can if we could secure winners a little easier, I'd like to do that. So I will probably be taking safer lines for, I'm not going to get too risky on lines right now. But I love Troy Franklin's look here. Now, I'll say this. The dude had just 3 targets last week against Washington. But 45 the previous 5 weeks. He averaged 9 targets per week the previous 5 weeks. Bryant, the other receiver for the Broncos, kind of took some of his target share last week and his snap count last week. Now, there was a little bit of an explanation for it. The Broncos ran the ball a little bit more last week as far as attempts. They had a lot more run formations. So Bryant typically is on the field for more of those. Just because Franklin has not been a great run blocker. So I was watching a video of a guy talking about it, of why he wasn't on the field as much, because I kind of wanted to get some insight into that. Because obviously we want Franklin to get more than 3 targets here in this game, and I think he will. This is a great matchup in a dome, better passing conditions. It wasn't exactly great passing conditions in Washington there, a little bit of rain, cold. It wasn't like an ideal setup for Franklin to hit his overs. Honestly, he just came off a fantastic game versus the Chiefs where he had like 80 yards. So I don't think Franklin's just going to disappear here at all. I think Franklin will get back to getting up in the target count. At least 6-7 targets. I'd feel really good about this. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, Troy Franklin is Bo Nix's old college teammate. So they have a connection that goes all the way back to college, which explains why he had so many targets, the previous 5 weeks. Bo Nix is obviously very comfortable with this guy. Now, Franklin has had a little bit of trouble with a drop problem here earlier in the season. That's why I think he's starting to figure it out a little bit better. He hasn't been as bad of late. So if he's getting the targets that he was getting the previous 5 weeks, there's no way he doesn't hit this line. If he gets 9 targets, guys, you can feel pretty good about him cashing a 35-yard receiving line for sure. And I think the Broncos offense is kind of steadily getting a little better, right? You're starting to see Bo Nix kind of starting to round into form a little bit. And I think he has potential to get hot here at the end of the season. He's kind of had a very up and down year for Bo Nix. The defense has been great. Broncos offense, though, has made you scratch your head at times, particularly Bo Nix. But I think he starts to figure it out in the later stages of the season. And with Franklin, I think Franklin's going to be a very big part of that. So I really love the conditions here. This is obviously in a dome in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. I love that for passing. Warmer weather. It's just good vibes as far as the aerial attack, obviously. I think this is a nice bounce-back spot for him. So against the team he already cashed against, had a lot of targets against, and that was in a colder game up in Denver. He was able to cash for us in that one. His line was like 38.5, and he finished with 40 or 42 yards. He didn't go over by a lot in that one, but this is a good matchup for him. The Raiders are 24th in yards allowed to wide receivers, so it's a very good matchup for him. And PropStat for what it's worth, does agree with this as well. PropStat has him as a projection of plus 10.5, which you'll love to see that. So they obviously think he's going over as well, which I obviously do. So I love that for number 5 pick, guys. We got Troy Franklin over 35.5 receiving yards here for the Denver Broncos. We got minus 125 odds here on Fanatics. And then, guys, our for the Sweep Parlay, plus 26.67 odds on Fanatics, risking a tenth of a unit. So obviously $10 will make you almost 300 on this parlay if all 5 hit. I love it, guys. I love the plays that we have in store for this week. I'm excited about it. Obviously, hopefully we can have a great week, like I said, in the NFL. Last Sunday's video did pretty solid. The last one we did of these last week went, I think, 3-2, which wasn't too bad. Obviously, we're hoping for a little better than that this week. And then our anytime touchdown parlay, guys, plus 3,005 odds on Fanatics, risking a tenth of a unit here. These are guys that we've taken. I don't know if we're taking Christian Watson for a touchdown, but I do like him to score. Pittman and Waller have been very good to us in touchdown parlays, though. Michael Pittman, anytime touchdown, 7-12 this season, 4 or 5 on the road. Jags 21st DVP and touchdowns allowed to receivers, so I love seeing that. Darren Waller, anytime touchdown here for the Miami Dolphins, 3 of 5 this season. Jets 26 DVP is a great red zone option as well. And then Christian Watson anytime touchdown, 2 of 3 last 3. Bears 30th DVP in touchdowns allowed to receivers. You love to see it, guys. Christian Watson, particularly of late, has seemed to be the red zone guy of late, especially with Tucker Kraft going down. Christian Watson stepped up. He's got 3 touchdowns in his last 3 weeks. So I think he's got a great shot here once again to cash. So love it there, guys. That's our anytime touchdown parlay there. Plus 3,005 odds on Fanatics. All right, guys, that is it for our picks. As always, my friends, if you guys enjoyed the content, hit the like and subscribe. Guys, I'll be at the Bills-Bengals game. Wish me luck. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're celebrating my brother's 50th birthday. We're making a whole weekend of it, so I'm recording this content obviously a bit early, but I'm excited for the weekend, guys. I haven't been this excited in a while. Going up to Buffalo, we're going to tailgate, and I'm going to watch It's the Bets live, and I'm going to be having some fun. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a great day, great rest of your weekend. We'll catch you guys all back here next time. Peace out.